ChatGPT is killing people's content. Pieces of content I'm seeing online are pure garbage. They're dealing with AI that is writing content that's actually destroying your social media. It is absolutely killing it for the algorithm in the bad way. So ChatGPT is destroying your chance at going viral. What's going on, guys? Zach Perna here, and welcome back to another episode of the Zach Perna podcast. Now, I am wearing headphones today, and I feel like a fucking goose. I feel like a genuine goose. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see. If you're listening to this, check out the YouTube and see what a fucking idiot I look like. But I can hear things going on, so you know what? I'm keeping them. Or let me know if you think it's distracting and you don't like it, okay? Today's episode, I want to talk about something interesting that's on my mind lately. I work with fitness coaches in the social blueprint, helping them grow their business, start their business, and work through content. And I was literally wondering why so many pieces of content I'm seeing online are pure garbage. Nothing happens. Like, I'm like, why do I hate this? And I don't know why. And I'm like, oh, it reads like ChatGPT. That's what I'd say. Like, yeah, it just sounds too robotic. And then I go like, okay, but why is that? Like, it's weird, right? Because you could like program a GPT and then it still doesn't sound right. And I've like custom GPT'd one and it's way better. It's way, way better than the normal GPT. But for those who don't have access to that, they're dealing with AI that is writing content that's actually destroying your social media. I figured out why. I think I figured out why. Is because when you write content in ChatGPT, what happens is a bunch of random shit, but it spits you out something that you just go, oh, okay, oh wow, that's smart, I'll run with it. Because let's be honest, like ChatGPT has been so useful in like literally every aspect of our lives. Like for me, I use it in everything. I use it to plan upcoming holidays. Like I use it for random stuff. I ask it the most random shit questions. If someone has my history for ChatGPT, that's going to be bad. But I use it for so much stuff. So when you use it for content, you think because you said make it relatable, make the hook good, make it like capture people's attention and retain them, you think it's going to be good, but it's not quite there yet. And I'll explain why. Is because what ChatGPT will do, and you can test this out, you can go, give me a content idea, give me a script for this idea. It will give you this weird format that never gets to the value. It takes like 30 seconds to get to the value. And it does it in a way that will actually make you sound preachy, condescending, and like you don't actually care for people. Now, let's look at when I started making content before there was any help to do so. My mentality was, let's be as helpful as possible. Like that's all I wanted to do because I didn't have a social media following. I wasn't just given one. I started and I'm like, what do? I'm just going to be as helpful as humanly possible. I would make videos to help people. I wasn't trying to keep their attention. I was just trying to fucking help them. And that rewarded me because for whatever reason, people wanted to reciprocate. They wanted to follow. They wanted more help. So because I was helping their lives in some, in fitness, and they obviously wanted more of that. As opposed to ChatGPT doesn't want you to help people. It just is doing what you asked it to, which is give me a script for a video. So what happens is the reels that people make now never get to the good bit. It takes 30 seconds to get to any actionable piece of information, and it takes 30 seconds spent in the beginning making people feel shit. It literally does that. And what it does, and I don't know why it does this, but what it does and what I'm seeing it do is say, the hook, and sometimes I have a good hook, like here's why something. And then it's got this body, this first bit that's like, you probably think you need to do this, but you don't. You don't need this. You don't need motivation. What you need is something else. This is what most people think. And it goes on this tangent of like, your shit, you don't know what to do. Everyone else thinks they're doing something, but everyone's wrong because what everyone needs is this. And then you read it back and you're like, oh yeah, I can't unsee that now. I got to just like roll with it. And you maybe change some words, but the feeling and the tone is the same, which is I'm better than you. You don't know what to do. You're probably doing things wrong. You're in a lot of pain. Relate to this. You're in a lot of pain. And here's what you can do after like 30 seconds. So the problem is you never actually start with a good bit. You never give them value until you have 10 seconds to give them value. And then by that point, they're already scrolling because you made them feel shit. That's the biggest differentiating factor in when I script a reel versus when AI scripts a reel. AI versus I. When I script a reel, I always think like, what do I want the viewer to feel? Do I want to feel like, Zach thinks he's better than me? Do I want them to feel like that? No way. No way. Do I want them to feel that they're not capable of doing this? No. Do I want them to feel like they've been wrong their whole life and they should feel guilty? Or ashamed? Like, no, none of those things. I want viewers to feel like empowered. Like I want them to feel like they go, holy shit, I can do this. I can take that step. I can cook that meal and live a healthier life. I want to do that now. I want to go out and buy that stuff to cook. Like I want them to feel that. I want them to feel relatability, like, oh shit, Zach's just like me. That's awesome. I feel like connection. They might feel better about themselves. That is all that really matters, in my opinion, is how you make people feel. Because if no one cares about you, that's just like the reality. Sorry if you didn't know that. That's going to, shit, I must have cut you deep. No one is scrolling social media just to see your thoughts and stuff, unless you're obviously a celebrity or whatever. People is like, they're like, what's in it for me? All the time. So if you want to do well on content creation, especially in fitness, like a health industry where it's very saturated, it's very competitive, but you can get such an edge on just going, you know what? I'm going to be as helpful as possible and make my target audience feel the best. That's it. Because what happens when you do that is people watch your videos for longer. They watch the maximum retention, right? Because if they're feeling great and they already want to, and you're very helpful and they want to do the things that you're talking about, they're going to continue watching. They're going to watch more of your videos, as opposed to the person who makes the viewers feel nothing, or worse, they just feel bad. People are not going to watch that. They're not going to even make it past 5 seconds because you just didn't make them feel good. You didn't even get their attention, and you didn't keep it because you didn't give them anything to do. There was nothing tangible. There was no feeling, no excitement. There was nothing. So the bad thing I found with ChatGPT is once you start like ideating and scripting and things like that with AI, it's very, very difficult to unsee what it has done. So you can easily edit the script of GPT, right? You can easily just go in there and go, okay, it said to do these things. I'm going to edit that word. I don't like this sentence. You can do that, but it's always going to be in the framework of that GPT look. It's never going to be your own true ideas and originality. So I changed a lot in how I script stuff, because I went through a phase where I went, oh, I will trust ChatGPT to script this video. And now I'm like, no way. So what I do now is I'll tell you exactly, here's a bit of value. Here's how I script my videos, and what I do for my students as well is you start with the idea. And if you've got a bad idea, don't shoot it. You can't fix a bad idea in the edit, in the shooting, in the scripting, just don't even do it. So start with a good idea. Then when you're getting into the script, think of some way of starting it that's going to be the hook, that's going to get people's attention. And there are no rules for this. I mean, there are formats and plug and play things you could use, like, oh, stop doing this, or here's a negative thing like that. But in time, they're going to get old anyway. So what I find the best way to do that is, if I was watching this, what would get my attention? Visually. What would visually get my attention? What scene would I look at that would get my attention? And what could someone say that would explain that video quickly and why I should watch it? For example, you could start, if you're holding a pink dildo and you said, watch me put this in my ass. This is my podcast. I don't give a fuck, right? If you don't like it, get out. But if you said that, right, and then you just went to cook a meal, it's like, what about the first bit? Right? If they're still watching that for that reason, then maybe they should subscribe to your OnlyFans. But point being, if you just hook them in and then just do something else, it's annoying. And it's actually like, it's not delivering on it. So you can't just hook people in. It's got to be relevant to the video, and it has to explain what you're about to do. Versus if you held a dildo and said, hey, watch me cook my favorite meal prep recipe, that's better. At least it's relevant. Visually gets their attention. It's kind of funny. It's a pattern interrupt. And then you go into the actual video, which is they know what to expect. So I'm less thinking now, oh, the hook has to be, here's 4 reasons why you suck, or stop doing this, or you're making these mistakes. It doesn't have to be that. A good hook is literally, what is something that you can do or say that's going to get people's attention and kind of show them what they're in for, right? That's the first step, is the hook. The second step is the actual body. And here's where I just think, you know what? You either need to give context to who you are and why you're going to help, or you just get into it. Like, get into the value and don't give people a chance to skip. Because if you're helpful and you're giving people actionable, helpful tips that don't take 4 sentences to drag out, it's going to be so beneficial for them to keep watching. And they're actually not going to want to scroll because they don't even have time to. Their brain doesn't have time to process, this is boring, because they're too busy taking in the information. Now, there are things you can do in the edit that's going to make this much snappier, right? You can make like quick cuts, zooms. You can do it filming where you like pattern interrupt and change the angle of the shot. That's all well and good. That's great. I use that too. But the secret sauce is in making your tips concise and actionable as well. And when I say tips, it could be any piece of value, anything. The only kind of different format is like a storytelling format where you have the time to elaborate and to set the scene, and it's more emotional. It's more like a story. Whereas if it's just like a value-based video, I think there should be no fat in the video. And FatGPT gives you a lot of fat. It'll give you all these things that are really nonsense, nothing, redundant sentences. Like, they don't actually contribute anything. So go and script a reel, right? Script it yourself. Don't think ChatGPT yet. Script it yourself and look at those lines and think, is there any way of saying this easier or faster? Can I make it more concise? Or is there anything I need to add like that? And typically, if you take things out and make it really concise and helpful, it's going to be so easy to just keep people's attention because there's not enough time to skip, right? That's the main thing. So I'll give a body of information. The body is the value, and I'll sprinkle my personality throughout that because I have the time to script, put some funny things in there, maybe do my own version of it. And as I go throughout, I might read the script back and go, oh, that needs a different angle change there. That would do well with a zoom. That needs a prop. I would add those visual elements in as I go. And then the ending is whatever call to action I want, like, follow, whatever, shove a pink dildo up your bum, any of those things, or all of them, whichever. And that's done, right? And then I might run that whole script into ChatGPT and say, are there any other elements I could use to grab people's attention? Is there anything you'd cut out of this? What are some visual props I can use to, increase retention, like use visual triggers? And then it might give me some good ideas, right? And then I'll go, oh, that's actually a good idea. I did a live script writing. It took me about 40 minutes for the blueprint, for the guys in the social blueprint. Plug, if you're an online coach, just join, link below. And I did a full script breakdown of like a bulking video. That's why like 60-second or 50-second bulking video, how I would do it. And I did all the things from like getting a bucket of KFC, using that as a prop, moving on to the next one. And I put it through ChatGPT and I was pretty proud of it. I'm like, this is sick. This is good to go. And I said like, what else could I add? And it gave me 10 absolutely fucking stupid things, like stupid suggestions that I'm like, that is dumb. But one I liked. And it was, as I'm talking, I could be peeling off the chicken skin. And I saw that and I'm like, that's smart. Because think about it. I imagine myself talking and peeling chicken skin. You'd be like, what is this guy doing? Then you can't look away because you're like, what's he going to do with that skin? Right? Like it's too curious. And I was like, that's great. So then I'm like, I stole that bit, but the rest of them I ignored. Now that's the benefit of starting with your brain and then adding AI to it, is that you're making something that already is original and creative, and you're just sprinkling a little bit of GPT on top of that. You're making it a little bit better, as opposed to the opposite that people do. We just start with the basic, boring GPT stuff and try to sprinkle yourself in it. I don't want you to do that. The analogy that I use and think about is that when I started making YouTube videos, I didn't know what I was doing. I actually never had seen vlogs before. I didn't watch YouTube. I kind of still don't. Weird, I don't know. But I never understood how vlogs worked. So I started filming YouTube videos and vlogs without watching a single vlog before. Now it has good and bad bits about that. Like the bad thing about that is that I could have learned some really easy editing techniques and like vlogging editing techniques kind of thing. But the good thing was that my videos were not like anyone else's because I had never seen anyone else's. I couldn't be influenced by everyone else even if I tried to, because I wasn't even watching their videos. And that I actually thought was quite good. And I was glad that I did that, because it allowed me to establish the way that I wanted to shoot and make my videos was original, in that I hadn't watched other people do stuff. So I didn't know if it was good or bad in comparison, but it was different. And that's the same with content now, is that if you let GPT do it, it could do well. I think it's probably going to flop, but you're basically saying that I just want this to be the same as everyone else's, because they're all doing the same thing. But if you do it yourself without AI, it might be worse than AI, but at least it's yours. And at least it's different and creative. And that's where I encourage my students and you as well, if you're listening to this for content, to be creative, right? Like do the things that only you would do that GPT would never think of. And then if you want, like ask it specific questions. Like that's what I do to script it, is I ask it really specific questions so I can brainstorm of like, what is something that would make people think, what the hell is he doing? I would ask it that. And then it would give me a couple ideas and I'd choose one good one. Then I'd probably think of another one based off that. And that's how I use it. I don't let it give me the whole thing. I ask it like the very specific things that I'm trying to do. And that to me is using AI really well. That's how to use it to script write and to make good content. It's not to give it the whole thing. It's to give you a little bit of juice for that one line or prop or idea or analogy, visual metaphor. Like that's where you use it, and you can't get that out of one prompt. You might have to ask like 8 prompts. Like sometimes I'm going through and I'm like, oh, I need an analogy to demonstrate this thing. What could I use? I don't know, ask ChatGPT. Bang, it'll give me a good one, or at least an idea for a good one, and so on. So I think you guys kind of get the point. It's like it has to start with you, and then it'll end with a bit of GPT, and then back to you again. So it ends with us, basically. Watched that the other day, actually. Not proud of it. Didn't particularly enjoy it. Anyway, that's when you know I'm running out of things to say, is I've said my bit. ChatGPT, I do love you if you're watching this, or if you probably are listening to this and you're probably just angry at me. But I just think we use it way too much. And I think it's ruining people's content because it's making it boring. And I think there's such a better way of using it that no one is doing. And I just told you guys. So the least you could do is use it. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel and give me a comment and like the video. That'd be great. And also, if you're listening to this, give it a great review. Give it 6 stars out of 5. That would be awesome, even just for the pink dildo comment, all right? If that shocked you at all, you have to give it 5 stars. It's a rule. But that's my ramblings over, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know on Instagram. Tag me at Perna if you did enjoy this, and I will see you guys in another episode.